When my parents divorced due to my mother's infidelity, my biological father cut me out of his life, stating he saw no reason to maintain contact with me. Consequently, I chose my stepfather, who was initially my mother's affair partner, to walk me down the aisle at my wedding. I, a 26-year-old woman, decided to have my stepfather take this role instead of my biological father, and now my father is enraged about my decision. For background, my parents' marriage ended when I was 16 because my mother had an affair. But this followed years of a deeply troubled relationship marked by my father's abusive conduct. Their marriage was fraught with toxicity and pain long before the affair came to light. When my mother's cheating was revealed and the divorce proceedings began, my father essentially declared I wasn't worth his time. I vividly recall him saying he had no interest in staying connected with me since my mother's new partner could take over as my father. I was only 16, and those words crushed me. From that point, my father effectively exited my life post-divorce. I lived with my mother full-time. My father never made efforts to arrange visits or even acknowledge my birthdays. It was complete silence from him. Meanwhile, my mother's partner, who later became my stepfather, moved in with us and eventually took on a significant role in my life. Initially, I harbored resentment toward both my mother and him because of how their relationship began. Learning about my mother's betrayal as a teenager was a shock, compounding an already chaotic situation. I was furious with her for some time, even though I understood she had been deeply unhappy and scared in her marriage to my father. My emotions were complex back then. However, over the next few years, I began to see how much better our lives were without my father's presence. To my surprise, my mother's partner, who became my stepfather, proved to be a compassionate man who treated both my mother and me with kindness. He stepped into the fatherly role my biological father had abandoned, teaching me to drive, assisting with college applications, and attending my high school events to support me. These were all things my biological father never cared to do. Over the past decade, my stepfather has been more of a parent to me than my father ever was. I haven't forgotten that he entered our lives through an affair, which troubled me for a long time, but I've come to judge him based on his actions toward us. He's shown himself to be a devoted husband to my mother and a supportive father figure to me. My mother and stepfather married a few years after the divorce, and they remain happily together. In contrast, my father remarried roughly a year after the divorce was finalized. I wasn't invited to his engagement or wedding. I only learned about it afterward through family members. That stung, though it wasn't entirely unexpected since our relationship was already non-existent. His remarriage solidified that I was no longer part of his life. After he wed, our already sparse communication ceased entirely for years. I heard nothing from my father. No calls, no messages, nothing. Fast forward to now, I'm engaged to an incredible man and planning my wedding. Given this history, it felt natural to ask my stepfather to walk me down the aisle. He's been the one fulfilling the fatherly role for the past 10 years. To me, he's my true father because he's the one who showed up and parented me. I didn't invite my biological father to the wedding, as we have no relationship, and I saw no reason to include him for appearances' sake. However, news of my engagement and wedding plans reached my father through extended family. I maintained contact with my paternal grandparents and a few aunts. A few weeks ago, my aunt, my father's sister, informed me that he was furious upon learning my stepfather would walk me down the aisle. Apparently, he ranted about how I was dishonoring him by choosing the man who ruined his marriage over my real father. He's been telling anyone who will listen that by allowing my mother's affair partner to take his place, I'm endorsing their infidelity and betraying him. My aunt called me to discuss this, acknowledging my father's flaws, but arguing that I was deeply hurting and shaming him by excluding him and elevating the man who contributed to his marriage's collapse. She felt having my stepfather in that role was a harsh blow to my father, a public rejection of family loyalty. She suggested inviting my father and perhaps having both him and my stepfather walk me down the aisle, or finding another way to recognize him to avoid further pain. Honestly, my father's outrage and accusations infuriated me. He lost any claim to being a father when he abandoned me and made no effort to be part of my life for a decade. This is the same man who didn't invite his only daughter to his own wedding and explicitly told me he was done being my dad. It's hypocritical for him to act like the victim now, claiming I'm betraying him by honoring the man who actually raised me. He's preaching about fidelity and loyalty while ignoring his own history as an abusive husband and absent father. Still, my aunt's call planted a seed of doubt. She made me wonder if I'm being too harsh. From my perspective, my feelings are valid, but I can see how, from my father's viewpoint, this might feel like a significant betrayal. Some relatives on his side have also hinted that I'm wrong for excluding him and choosing my stepfather. Now I'm conflicted, wondering if I'm making the right choice by shutting my father out and having my stepfather take this role. So, Reddit, am I wrong for asking my stepfather, who began as my mother's affair partner but has been my true father figure, to walk me down the aisle instead of my biological father? Comment 1. At first glance, your decision to have your mother's affair partner walk you down the aisle seemed harsh. Infidelity is painful, and I can see why some might initially sympathize with your father. But the full story changes everything. Your father's abusive behavior and abandonment of you are the real reasons for this outcome. He destroyed his own family long before the affair. You're not wrong, Hirop reply. I don't condone cheating either, and I get why some might side with my father at first. I struggled with my mother's actions too. It took time to process. But you're right that context is key. My mother's affair didn't happen in a vacuum. It followed years of her being demeaned and scared by my father. It's not a justification, but it's part of the story. My father's actions broke our family, and he conveniently ignores his role in pushing us to that point. Comment 2. Your father relinquished his role as a dad when he walked away from you at 16. He doesn't get to demand the privilege of walking you down the aisle now. Where was he for all your milestones? Absent. Your stepfather earned that honor by being there for you. It's hypocritical for your father to cry disrespect when he abandoned his own child. You owe him nothing. Don't let your relatives' guilt trips sway you. You're not wrong, reply. You're spot on. My father gave up being a dad years ago. He hasn't even reached out to congratulate me on my engagement, just complained to others about how I'm wronging him. It's absurd that he expects to play the proud father now. To answer your question, he missed every major moment in my life. High school graduation, college graduation, birthdays, everything. My stepfather was there for all of it. He's earned this. Comment 3. Your father has only himself to blame. Yes, cheating is wrong, but your mother's affair didn't break a happy home. Your father's abuse did that long before. His abandonment of you was the final straw. It makes sense that you'd choose the man who showed you love and support. His feelings aren't your burden, especially since he never cared about yours. He's just upset because his pride is hurt, not because he values your relationship. Don't let him or his supporters guilt you. You're doing what's right for you. Reply. You're absolutely right. My father's abuse shattered our family long before my stepfather came into the picture. I have vivid memories of his cruelty, like when he pushed my mom against a wall during an argument and brushed it off like it was nothing. That kind of fear and chaos defined our home, not my stepfather. My father's ego is driving this drama. He's always played the victim. I'm done letting him manipulate me. Thanks for the support. It's reassuring to hear I owe him nothing. Update 1. Thank you all for the overwhelming support. The clear consensus that I'm not wrong gave me the confidence to address this. I decided to put an end to the drama with my father. Though I hadn't planned to contact him, I sent a calm, clear email obtained through my grandparents addressing his complaints. I explained that he abandoned me and has no right to expect a father's role now. I called out his attacks on my stepfather and reminded him he has no moral standing after his abusive past. I also stated that I won't tolerate further interference or gossip about my wedding. His reply was harsh, doubling down with insults, calling me ungrateful and attacking my mother and stepfather. He even said, "If you want that man as your father, go to hell." It's almost ironic. It echoes what he told me at 16, just angrier. It hurt, but it mostly made me angry and then relieved. His response confirmed he hasn't changed, and cutting him off is right. I replied briefly, saying I won't contact him again and wishing him well, then blocked his email and number. I informed my grandparents and aunt I won't discuss him further. My mother and stepfather have been supportive. My stepfather even offered to step aside if I wanted my biological father involved, showing his selflessness. I reassured him he's my true dad and the only one I want walking me down the aisle. We shared an emotional moment and he said he's honored. My wedding is months away and my father won't be there, which feels right. I'm focusing on my supportive family and fiancé. Thank you all for helping me see clearly. Comment 1. Your father's nasty response isn't surprising. It's just him showing his true self again. You gave him more than he deserved by reaching out, and he threw it back with insults. That's on him. Good for you for setting boundaries. I'd suggest informing your wedding venue about the situation in case he or his supporters try anything. He probably won't show up, but better safe than sorry. Congrats on moving forward and focusing on your real family op reply. His response was like reliving his rejection from when I was 16, just with more venom. It confirmed I'm right to cut him off. My grandparents have been understanding and haven't pushed me, and my aunt has backed off, likely because arguing was futile. Great advice about the venue. My fiancé and I will alert our coordinator and have a friend keep watch on the day, just in case. I doubt he'll show, but we're prepared. Comment 2. Your stepfather sounds like a truly remarkable man and a real father to you. His willingness to step aside shows his incredible character. You're fortunate to have him, and he's lucky to have you as a daughter op reply. Thank you. I'm so grateful for my stepfather. I never expected to grow this close to him given how he entered our lives, but he's proven himself to be an amazing father figure. His saying he's honored to walk me down the aisle meant everything. We both got emotional talking about it. I know he'll be a mess of tears on the day, and I'll have tissues ready for us both. I'm thrilled he'll be by my side. Update 2 final. I'm back with a final, joyful update. My wedding was a little over a month ago, and it was perfect. I'm now happily married. My stepfather walked me down the aisle, and we were both teary-eyed from the start. It was a deeply moving moment. At the reception, I gave a speech thanking him for being the father I never anticipated, but am so thankful for. He responded with a heartfelt toast, saying being my stepfather is one of his greatest joys. Our family was in tears. My biological father didn't show up or contact me, which was a relief. Some paternal relatives, including my grandparents, attended, and there was no tension. They didn't mention my father. I have no regrets about my choices. Cutting him off was the right move, and having my stepfather by my side was perfect. My wedding was filled with love and support, exactly as I wanted. Thank you all for your guidance. It made a huge difference in navigating this.